and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. The news that the chief of ISIS was killed did cause some headlines in the newspapers. The terrorist chief who ordered large-scale destruction of life and property, justified the sexual exploitation of women, justified enslavement of the people in the name of faith, will no longer be able to cause mayhem to the people. The people will heave a sigh of relief. But would they really do so? The ideologue is dead, but the ideology that he promoted, that motivated him and his followers, that caused endless bloodshed and destruction of civilizational parameters, severed the bonds of humanity. Would that ideology also come to an end? We have seen that the ideology of terror outlives the ideologue. But that's not only true of terror. Any ideology, over a span of time, has a much longer life than the ideologue itself. Look at communism. Marx and Engels' ideology, promoted by Lenin and Stalin, is even today making its impact on the people, and so much so that the ultra-left in USA is in fact preaching a modified form of communism that otherwise is prevalent in Russia, Albania, North Korea, China, and a host of other countries. Therefore, to think that the world can heave a sigh of relief is a mistaken notion. The world is not going to be relieved of the tension and of the terror that was promoted by this ideologue, Baghdadi. You can kill a person, but you cannot kill the idea. And that's not only true for terror or communism of that. Such ideologies which are harmful for the mankind, it's true also of those ideologies which have been good, the ideas that move the world. The originators of those ideas were killed. Bruno, Galileo, Copernicus, name it. They met their end. Even Socrates had to drink the cup of hand. But the ideas that those people generated keep on moving. The biggest example of that is Christianity. Jesus was crucified at the cross. And Christianity today is the largest accepted religion in the world. The ideology of Christ lives on. In the Sikh religion, the gurus, they were killed, beheaded, burnt and boiled, the originators, the promoters, the founders. But the ideology that they promoted, you call it religion, you call it cult, whatever you want to call it, lives on. And that is true of everything. So if the people are thinking, or the political leaders are always crying from the housetops that the chief is dead, they should not be oblivious of the fact that terrorists may be dead, But the idea that he promoted is accepted by hundreds of the people, possibly thousands of the people, maybe hundreds and thousands of the people. And that idea can always become a Frankenstein to hound the world, to wound the world, to wound the civilization, and destroy what is left of the humanity. This growing, whether at the killing of Osama or now at the killing of Baghdad, is justified insofar as the chief promoter and the instigator is dead. But my concern is not with the person. My concern is with the ideology. Till the ideology is negated and thrown in the waste paper basket, buried fathoms deep, the fear stalking the land would always be there. Unfortunately, our leaders just take a short-term view. But they forget the one thing: the king is dead, long live the king. People are not concerned with the person. Person is just a front, a mask of the idea. The idea is what prevents all actions, promotes all actions, that trigger force. And unless you remove the trigger, you are not successful. And that's what I was talking to the president the other day, that you are successful, but then are you really successful? Until and unless Middle East returns to the heaven of tolerance, which at one time it was. If Lebanon can have the same old beauty, if Syria can again live in peace, if Yemen's troubles can be over, if organizations like Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, and others are able to accept that they have a reasonable need to live in coexistence with the conflicting views, that they are welcome to practice their religion without in any way impacting the others' religions, others' thoughts, others' lives, others' property. Till you are able to accept that this universe is a composite universe, and the one idea, one ideology can never be a paramount ideology, you cannot accept peace. I agree, peace is a dream. And I also agree that the most part of the existence of this species of mankind has seen more wars, more disturbances than it has seen peace. There's no reason to think even that the ideologies that promote terror, the ideologies that promote hate would be over with the killing of a person. It needs a continuous process of rethinking. It needs a process of re-evaluating not only the ideology that went wrong and is anti-human, but also other ideologies. We need to be in a state of flux all the time, flux of the state of mind, where two things should stand paramount. Other can be right. There must have been some wounds inflicted on the psyche of the people who promoted the ideology of Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Was it not the interference of USA that led to the formation of Al-Qaeda and Taliban? And later on, again, USA and NATO forces, which led to the formation of ISIS. I honestly think and hate and despise all these terrorist organizations, maybe Khalistanis, Al-Taliban, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, ISIS, and so on and so forth. They are an ulcer and they need to be removed. But who is responsible for the ulcer? Are we removing the root cause of the disease, or are we having only symptomatic treatment? Killing a Baghdadi may be band-aid as far as the wound is concerned, but the wound is still festering. The wound of the society, the wound of the world, humanity is still there. And if we tell these ideologies, the promoters and the followers of these ideologies that look here, you should coexist, should the forces of so-called good, decency and democracy not believe in coexistence? Until and unless the cause is removed, the effect would be there. The West has always been thinking that it is right, it has a right to impose its opinion on the others. The recently events in Kashmir showed that they wanted to interfere. Why? And then who gave the right to some countries that they should decide which country should have nuclear power or not, or nuclear arms or not? Why don't they first disarm themselves, destroy all their nuclear arsenal, and then look, here we are, we have no nuclear weapon, so you should also not have. That can be a start of it. But today you are at one time you asked India and Pakistan not to have nuclear weapons. You impose sanctions on them. Intention was good, but it should start at the self. Now they're asking North Korea, Iran not to have nuclear weapons, and you would see it in a matter of months. North Korea might even test a nuclear weapon, and so might Iran. I'm not saying that they have a right to do so, but their right, they have as much a right as USA, India, France, Russia, China have a right. You have to have a level feel for the word politics. Otherwise, socio-cultural, politico-historical factors would come in. There would be a sense of discrimination. There will be a sense of being an injured party. And some demagogue would come along, play on the feeling of being discriminated against, convert that feeling into a feeling, a desire for righteousness and equality, and demand retribution. And then that demand can go haywire, and that's what happened. Al-Qaeda, Taliban, Boko Haram, they are all reaction to the actions of some powers, including USA. So what is needed is a non-interference in the affairs of others. No country has a right to be super cop. But then that's the reality of life. It is always the strong who rule over the world. That happens in social life, that happens in the political life. Then the second thing is that you can call an ideology of opposing force terrorism, but they call themselves to be liberators. And ultimately, the victorious always would be what he or she or it have labeled themselves. Had the Second World War Hitler been successful, then the ideology of the allies of the democracy would have been thought to be an outmoded one, and the whole world would have been saying, "Hail Hitler, hail Nazism." And that may not be good, but that's the way life is. The ideology, the ideas of the victorious would always be there. But even if when they are defeated, even today we see the shades of